It's the quarterback, right? Yeah, Mitch Trubisky. That's why Anthony Miller was ejected, and Roquan Smith and Darnell Mooney didn't play. That's why Javon Wims dropped a for-sure touchdown pass that could have changed the entire trajectory of the game. That's why Matt Nagy had bad play calling once again. That's why the defense couldn't stop Alvin Kamara and let Drew Brees, a 42-year-old quarterback who can't throw the ball more than 10 yards, dice him up. It's all Mitch's fault. Say it with me. It's all Mitch's fault. That narrative is so old and so unfair, and I'm sick of seeing it. You look around on Twitter yesterday. All I see is if we didn't have Mitch, we'd be fine. If we didn't have Mitch, we'd be 12-4. That's the dumbest take I've ever seen. You can't fix stupid, unfortunately. You can't. Some people are going to be set in their ways. They're not going to believe what they watched yesterday. They're going to buy in to the same old narrative that everybody peddles. It's Mitch. It's Mitch. What did Mitch do to negatively affect the game yesterday? Nothing. I know everybody was waiting for the fumble and the pick. They were waiting, and it didn't happen. And the response still is, Mitch blew it. Only 3 points in 3 quarters. That's an indictment on Mitch. No, it's not. It's an indictment on the horrible play calling we saw yesterday. Remember what I said last week in my Bears preview? I said commit to the run game. Oh, would you look at that? David Montgomery had 12 carries. I said 25 to 30, 12. Sure. What else did I say? I said to stop Alvin Kamara. 100 yards. Play disciplined. Apparently, it's hard for the Bears to avoid penalties now. Apparently, that's an issue, too. 9 penalties, 50 yards. Do you think that changed the game? And so what? Mitch ran out of bounds on a 4th down. What is he doing? Does that one play define the whole game? If it does, if that defines the whole game to you, you didn't watch. Or you're finding ways to tear him down. Not a surprise. It's happened all year. It's so old. And it's so frustrating to see that. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace, they're returning. Because guess who the scapegoat's going to be? Mitch Trubisky and Chuck Pagano. That's it. I'm not saying Chuck Pagano did a great job. The defense did regress. But Matt Nagy is most responsible for what happened in that game and all year. He'll stay. He's not going anywhere. He's here for the long term. The whole claim will be, if only the Bears had a quarterback. If only they did, they would have went 12-4. They would have been great. You want to bet? You want to bet that's going to be the narrative when they announce that Mitch is not coming back, but Nagy is? Wait and see. Wait. I was just so disgusted with what I saw on Sunday. So disgusted. Mitch did not do bad, and he made a lot of throws right on the money. How do you drop a touchdown pass? And not just any touchdown pass, right through your hands. It hit Javon Wims in the numbers, and it didn't work. Still couldn't catch it. Talk about a bust. I've said that from week 1. Bust. Anthony Miller getting ejected. Bust. Horrible. I remember the Alshon Jeffrey comps to Anthony Miller. Good one. Right. Anthony Miller is essentially Alshon Jeffrey. Get out of here. He should be cut immediately. Immediately. No question, cut. Gone. Wims, gone. Both of them are not quality wide receivers. I challenge any quarterback in the NFL to work with those two in a playoff game. It won't work. The Bears have always had only one wide receiver, Allen Robinson. I've said it all year. That's an issue that needs to be addressed immediately. We'll see if it is. What a stupid move on Miller's part. I didn't agree with the ejection. I know he punched somebody, but he was provoked. At the same time, though, Matt Nagy did say they trained for that specific scenario in practice. So why give in to the bait in the real game? Why do it? Why fall to that temptation? You know, the best part of this whole thing is after the game, okay? I look around. People are saying, see, this is what you asked for, Bears fans. All of you idiots who were so happy about the playoff appearance, there you go. You set the team back. No, that didn't set anybody back. I was excited about the playoff appearance because I knew what was to come. This team should not have to rebuild. They shouldn't. They have a lot of individual talent, but they will. Don't get me wrong, they will. And to all of you who really want that to happen, I say this. As I've said before, be careful what you wish for. Really be careful. This is what you want, right? You want the tank for Trevor mentality to come to this team? Good luck. I can't wait till next year. I really can't, because game one, when the Bears lose 56-0, those same people who wanted the rebuild are going to say this is pathetic. That's how it works. Then I see Cubs fans say, tear this thing down, horrible rebuild. Really? Pretty hypocritical. Oh, the Bears weren't Super Bowl contenders. Why'd they even try this year? I could say the same thing about the Cubs. The Cubs weren't World Series contenders this year. And all of you cried and pouted and whined when Kyle Schwarber was let go. And when Yu Darvish was traded. All of you. I know it because I felt it. When I posted my Kyle Schwarber video, all I got was hate. Talk about a double standard. Why do we support some mediocrity, but not all? Why are we selective in that? Mitch sucks. Schwarber's great, though. Don't talk about him. Oh, the Cubs are great. They shouldn't rebuild. The Bears, they're mired in mediocrity. Get everybody out. The hypocrisy, the double standards are off the charts, and I'm sick of seeing that too. Go ahead, blame Mitch. Go ahead. If you tuned into this video to see me say it, sure, I'll say it. I'll say it to appease you. Because if you honestly believe that Mitch Trubisky was the big reason why the Bears are where they are today, you've got a lot of problems. Number one, you can't evaluate talent. Number two, you haven't been watching Bears football. You haven't. If you watched the game on Sunday, and the games all year, you'd know this is not a Mitch issue. Wouldn't it be nice if the Bears had a coach that would, conform to Mitch? Like the rest of the NFL. But no, not the Bears. No way. David Montgomery, great running back. We'll run him about 12 times a game. That should win us something. The defense was depleted. The offense and the wide receiving corps was depleted. And no one batted an eye. No one said a word. It's only Mitch. If only the Bears had a different quarterback, they'd win. What do you know? They tried that, and they lost more than they won. Granted, I know it's Nick Foles, but that's what you wanted, and you got it. You got what you wanted. Because it doesn't matter who's behind center. If you're throwing to Allen Robinson, and Allen Robinson only, if your coach is not play calling to your strengths, and if you run the ball with a talented running back 12 times a game, you're not winning anything in the NFL. Nothing. The Bears have so much individual talent that's being wasted. And guess what? There's going to be a rebuild now. You got your wish. The Bears had the talent this year to realistically be a 10-6 team. They did. If the whole quarterback switch didn't happen, they would be 10-6. And who knows what the narrative would be then. But the reality is, they're not there. And now you'll see a rebuild. This team won't be competitive for 5 years. And I'm sure everybody's okay with it. Yeah, let's draft a quarterback. Let's develop another one. He'll be good. And while we're at it, we'll get rid of everybody. Okay. All right. You do that for me. The game was frustrating. Don't get me wrong. I know. I was disappointed. The Bears did have a legitimate shot. It was 7-3 entering the half. Anybody's game. But the game plan from snap one wasn't there. The Bears won a certain way over Houston and Jacksonville and Minnesota. Why abandon it? Why get rid of it? Just because you're facing New Orleans doesn't mean it won't work. What, because you're facing a good team, now all of a sudden what you did to beat the bad teams won't work? I gave you the keys to victory. I did, because I knew that's the only way the Bears would win. David Montgomery needed 25 carries. He got 12. 12 carries. Mitch Trubisky made on-the-money throws that weren't caught, and one throw that could have changed the entire outcome of the game. They had a wide receiver get ejected. They had key players missing on offense and defense. But don't worry. That's the game we're going to judge the team's future on. All of those caveats don't mean anything. Because they went 8-8, they're already bad. Time to rebuild. Get rid of everyone. Oh, yeah. And it's Mitch Trubisky's fault. I don't know what to say to that. I've been doing this all year. I've been following the team all year. I've been making shows here on the radio and on YouTube all year. And you know exactly where I stand. Someone yesterday said, John, are you an idiot? Why are you dying on this hill? You know why I am? You want to really know why? Because the guy's been given a raw deal. That's why. And if no one else has the guts or the balls to stand up for him, I will. And apparently that's the case. If anything, Mitch did more for this team to win than to lose. The quarterback change put the Bears in. If Matt Nagy stuck with Nick Foles, this would be a 6-10 team. 5-11 maybe. They'd be done. They'd be nowhere. The rebuild talk would be 10 times stronger. And I'd have to agree, if you go 5-11, rebuild. But the fact is, the Bears went 8-8. The fact is, they made the playoffs. And the fact is, it's because of Mitch Trubisky. But don't worry, they lost yesterday because of him. Remember that headline I read from you way back in week 3? The Bears won today in spite of Mitch Trubisky. When the Bears won in weeks 1 and 2, they won in spite of Mitch Trubisky. When the Bears clinched the playoff spot, they did it in spite of Mitch Trubisky, right? Yeah, of course. Go ahead. Keep believing the false narrative. Keep buying into it. Because now, he's gone. That's it. It's over. Matt Nagy and Pace will stay. Your scapegoat will be Mitch, and if that's what you asked for, fine. But don't be crying when the Bears exact a full rebuild. Don't be mad next year when the Bears are going 2-14 and they're not playing an ounce of competitive football. Don't be mad. You asked for it. Be careful what you wish for. You've been pushing, and you're going to get that wish. And in the process, you've run out of town an okay quarterback who's been given a raw deal. You don't care. And this team will not be competitive for 5 more years. Enjoy that taste of playoff football, because you're never going to see it again. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with Tony Andracki comes up next, so stay tuned. Hey, do you want to make some money this weekend? What if I told you I could offer you $250 free to bet on any game you want? Here's what you have to do. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. You must be 21 plus. You must be an Illinois resident. You could bet $250 free on any game you want for this upcoming weekend. The NFL playoffs, NBA, college football, and college basketball. This is, without question, the best time to put down some money and get a whole lot more back. Go to sportstalkchicago.com/cash. sportstalkchicago.com/cash. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.